farewell Yellow Brick Road tour when he stopped here in New Jersey last year. Performance in Stockholm was the 330th farewell Yellow Brick Road tour and symbolized the end of 50 years, 5 decades on the road for Elton John. Boy, the stories he could probably tell in his time. So he's persistent. Time now for Bloomberg Money Watch and Content Day.
Pet ownership is big business. PetSmart, anything for pets. Shop now at Petco.
Prescriptions delivered to your door. Chewy.
So the worldwide pet economy right now is well north of $300 billion.
Bloomberg's Brendan Case on Bloomberg's The Big Take podcast.
The next 7 years are going to be a big story about growth.
With Bloomberg Intelligence predicting the pet economy will jump to nearly $500 billion, with the U.S. accounting for almost half that amount, but with emerging markets showing the strongest growth. And it's not just pampering with toys, top-quality food, and spa days, but advances in pet medical care.
A lot of the medicine innovation that you're seeing in the human health sector are transferring into the animal health sector.
Bloomberg's Naga Chad, who says we're talking about innovative medicines for arthritis, diabetes, and heart conditions, as well as scanning such as electrocardiograms and even anti-aging drugs. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Steve Otis for 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
It's news time 3:57.
Solving mysteries is hard. Reading them isn't. This mystery notes from BritBook bring the best selection of British mysteries, including the new series of Lisa, Silent Witness, Father Brown, Vera, and more. Find the free trial now at BritBook.com.
Hi, this is Monsignor Jamie Gigantiello, and it's that time of year again for the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. From July 5th to the 16th, the streets of Williamsburg will be open for fun, festivities, and faith. Join us on the corners of Havermeyer and North 8th Street in the great neighborhood of Williamsburg, Brooklyn. From July 5th to the 16th, our authentic Italian feast is full of rides, food, games, and entertainment. Transport yourself back in time when the neighborhood brought us all together. Come and gaze at one of the most spectacular and unusual traditional Italian-American features, the lifting of an 80-foot tall three-ton statue known as the Giglio, and the procession.
When you can find everything you need at prices you can afford, that's totally Target. It's that feeling when quality, good, and gather ingredients on the barbecue brings family around the table. Or when favorite day after practice snacks let you celebrate the whole team and relax. It's when saving more on up-and-up sunscreen means more fun in the sun. And when Target Circle Rewards program gives you more perks on what you buy most and is always free to join.
This were Mr. PBS. You'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. I'm sure my Reese's peanut butter is smooth, but still, you've seen the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something.
During this unprecedented time of worldwide economic challenge, it's so important that you keep a close eye on your retirement and be ready to take the steps necessary to protect your money. Having a portion of your IRA or 401k backed by physical gold and silver offers Americans the diversification needed to hedge against economic volatility and potential turmoil. Savvy retirement savers are those with the foresight to safeguard with genuine stores of value, like physical gold and silver, which in the past have soared during periods of misery for the rest of the economy. Diversify your hard-earned savings today by calling Birch Gold Group and get your free information kit to teach you how precious metals can protect your family's financial future. Birch Gold is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and has thousands of satisfied customers. Call them at 800-647-5525. That's 800-647-5525. 800-647-5525.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. More people get their news and Bent and Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Kristen Alexander, our service aide. Zach Newman, the editor. I'm Stephanie Officer.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good afternoon. It's 80 degrees at 4 o'clock. I'm Bud Michigan. Here's what's happening. Here comes the rain again. We'll have live AccuWeather in a minute. We'll also be joined live by New York City's Emergency Management Commissioner. video montage to warn of the dangers of subway surfing made by a friend of someone who was killed while subway surfing. A bomb scare stopped the rock show in upstate New York last night. The U.S. Central Command said it killed a top ISIS leader. President Biden heads out on a three-nation tour in Europe. On the sports front this afternoon, we've got the Mets playing in Chicago later on this afternoon. As far as the Yankees are concerned, at last word, they were leading 4-1 over the Cubs. Now the score is tied at 4 in the 8th inning in the Bronx. Wind time, 401. That's not for traffic and transit. Here's Gloria Chapel.
Let's start out in New Jersey because I've been keeping an eye on jam cams where there's a lot of rain building up and a lot of water building up on the roads themselves. This report is sponsored by MajorWorld.com. So one trouble spot I'm seeing is eastbound 80 going into exit 42. It's very heavy, very slow there. I can't tell exactly what it is because the jam cam does not show me, but I can tell you that it's very slow traffic. If you see what it is, give us a call and let us know. 844-JAM-1010. Here's what you need to know about the Bridgerton Tunnel for George. 40 to 45 in, 20 to 25 out. Lincoln 25 to 30 in, 5 to 10 out. And a Holland has a 15 to 20 minute wait in and 15 minutes on the outbound side. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big 3. Westbound LIE is slow into the North State Parkway connector, exit 39. Westbound North State is slow Willis Avenue to Lakeville Road, and the 7th State westbound is heavy from the Meadowbrook to Eagle Avenue. Northbound Deegan just after the Macomb Dam Bridge, there is a stall. It's blocking the right lane. Major World used to sell 100 cars this week before they move into a new building at the same location. They'll accept any reasonable offers. No games, no tricks. It's a perfect time to buy. Major World, 4340 Northern Boulevard, Long Island. 1-800-MAJOR-AUTO or visit MajorWorld.com. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the ones and breaking traffic alerts as they happen. I'm Gloria Tapa, 1010 Winds and 92.3 FM.
The humidity has been here for a week or so now, and it doesn't really seem to be going anywhere soon. Let's get a live update now from AccuWeather's John here. John?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to go much anywhere, as you said there, but looks like it's going to stay humid for the next several days. We've got widespread showers and storms out there right now. Most of those, at this point, still north of west of 287, but numerous flash flood warnings across northern New Jersey, up in Lake Valley. If you're encounter high water, you're definitely going to try to find a different route. I want to drive through that. There's been a few downpours now that popped up, one over the Queens, another moving through Manhattan and the Bronx, and these are going to become more widespread this afternoon into the evening. So there's going to be some flooding issues in and around the city as well before this is all said and done later on tonight. Still maybe a pop of shower still tomorrow, but in general tomorrow we should start to dry out a little bit. Dan?
Hi, John. Thank you. Wind time 403. As John mentioned, a flood watch in effect through this afternoon into late tonight. Joining us now live here on 1010 Winds is New York City's Emergency Management Commissioner, Zach Iscol. Commissioner Bud Mishkin here at 1010 Winds. Thanks for a few minutes of your time today. What's the latest you can tell us as far as the city's preparation for the storm this afternoon? All right, obviously we're having some problems getting through to Commissioner Iscol right now. We'll get back to that in just a minute. It's been uncomfortable in our area for quite some time now. But in other parts of the country, the heat is record-setting and dangerous.
It's not rocket science. You make the planet hotter, you can get more frequent, intense, long-lasting heat waves.
Michael Mann and other scientists warn climate change could also trigger more devastating wildfires. To prevent even more extreme weather events, Professor Mann warns action is needed now.
If things aren't done, what do you predict summers could look and feel like just 5 years from now?
I hate to think about that. Take the hottest, the most searing heat wave that you've ever experienced in your life. We would instead call that summer.
Experts say everyone can help cool the planet by just using less gas, energy, and water.
With correspondent Elise Preston with that report. An arrest in Brooklyn for vandalism of a church statue.
The statue of the Blessed Mother is outside of Resurrection Church on Garrison Avenue. Black paint covers the face and hands, and the word fake was painted on the statue. Dan's reaction summed up what most people were thinking.
It's absolutely abhorrent that someone would stoop so low.
The priest, Father Michael Gribbin, says the suspect was apparently emotionally disturbed.
So we're trying to pray for the person who did this. Obviously there's something wrong there. So we're going to see if we need to upgrade our security.
Aged members of the parish and the surrounding community have already come forward with offers to help clean the statue. Carol Gloria, 1010 Winds at 92.3 FM in Garrison Beach, Brooklyn.
And an arrest in Astoria. of a man accused of entering the sanctuary of St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church and frightening the children in the youth choir. The Diocese of Brooklyn, that also covers Queens, believes this is the same person who desecrated the church last month. Should the NYPD be allowed to collect digital information from the cell phones of people in custody, or is this an infringement of their civil rights and civil liberties? Each cell phone has an International Mobile Equipment Identity, or IMEI. It's a 15-digit identification number used by the phone company to track misplaced, lost, or stolen cell phones. But IMEI numbers can also be used in criminal investigations. The Daily News is reporting that the Adams administration was pressing officers to convince arrestees to give them access to their cell phones. Civil liberties groups say getting such information violates detainees' constitutional protections against unreasonable search and seizure. Queens News Time, 4:06. Let's try once again. Joining us now, New York City Emergency Management Commissioner Zach Iscol. Commissioner, Bud Mishkin here at 1010 Winds. Thanks for a few minutes of your time today. What can you tell us about the latest as far as the city's preparations for the storms today?
Yeah, hey, Bud, thank you so much for having me on. It's great to be with you today. So the city does a lot to prepare for weather events like this. First off, we are in constant communication with the National Weather Service. We do twice daily consults with them leading up to weather events. And we also bring in all of our agency partners, not just city agencies, a few dozen of them, but also our state partners as well. And really what we're making sure is that we have emergency teams on standby, we clear our catch basins, we activate something called Storm Mobile so that we can monitor 311 calls and send out Parks Department employees and others to remove downed trees. We work with DOT and MTA and state partners to monitor roads. But I think what's really important is not just what the city is doing to prepare for an event like this, but it's also really important that New Yorkers prepare as well. And there's a lot that New Yorkers need to do. First off, they need to take this seriously. I encourage every New Yorker to sign up for Notify NYC by going to nyc.gov/notify. You can also sign up at 311. That's our notification system for emergency alerts, for making sure New Yorkers have the information that they need. And then also make sure that you're taking care of each other. If you have vulnerable neighbors, making sure that you're checking in on them, make sure you have an emergency kit ready to go. And if you live in a basement, in particular, take this very seriously. We're expecting...
Commissioner, are there lessons learned from a couple of years ago? The Hurricane Ida came on and it was incredibly intense and perhaps a little bit surprising to most of us. Are there lessons learned from that experience 2 years ago?
So number one is this is the new normal. We're seeing increasing amounts of rainfall rates in the city. We're seeing more slow-moving storms with increased amounts of moisture in the air, which leads to greater amounts of rainfall. We're seeing hotter weather. So first off, New Yorkers need to be prepared for these types of weather events. And in particular, if you live in basements, sign up for Notify NYC, sign up for our basement group, be prepared to move to higher grounds. I've read some of these postmortems, and it's heartbreaking. People got trapped in basements because of bars on the window, because of the ways that the doors swung, and they got trapped by the water pressure. So if you live in basements in particular, these events need to be taken very seriously.
Are there parts of the city, we would understand that any shoreline is an area of concern, but are there other parts of the city, perhaps parts of neighborhoods in Queens, that wouldn't come to mind immediately in terms of an area of concern, but are an area of concern?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think a lot of people confuse different types of flooding. So we have coastal flooding, which is what we generally get during hurricanes or, offshore storms where you have a lot of water being pushed into places like Jamaica Bay, the Rockaways, parts of Staten Island, Red Hook, where water's getting pushed in from the ocean. We have really good modeling for where that water will end up. But when we have rainfall events, flooding caused by rainfall, it is almost impossible to predict where the flooding will occur in the city. And so it's important to New Yorkers to know, while you might not live in a coastal flooding zone, you live in a rainfall flooding zone. And it's one of the things that you need to be aware of, especially if you live in a basement apartment.
Commissioner, one more question, and that is, among the footage that got a lot of attention, understandably so, at the last big storm, back the one I referenced back in 2021, is the flooding coming into the subways. Now, the modernization of New York City's subway system is a whole bigger conversation, but is there a way, when these storms happen, of somehow doing something so that we don't see that happen each and every time into the subway?
Yeah, so I mean, I know the MTA is doing a lot of work, and our state partners are doing a lot of work to mitigate the effects of water going into the subways. There's a lot of things that we do also at the city, working with DOT, sanitation, DEP, to make sure drainage areas are clear, to make sure that water has a place to go. But both of the infrastructure is designed to handle rainfall rates of, basically like 1.7 to 2 inches an hour. We're now seeing regular storms where we're seeing 2 to 4 inches an hour. A storm like Ida, it's about 10 inches of rain in 3 hours. So there's a lot of more sort of long-term work that needs to be done, a lot of money that we need to tap into from Washington, infrastructure dollars, to bring the infrastructure up to par with the type of climate we live in today.
Zach Iskel is the New York City Emergency Management Commissioner. Commissioner, appreciate your time today. Stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Wings News Time. It's 4:12. We get to traffic and transit a little bit late, but that's okay. Let's check in with Gloria Chapel.
Well, let's go ahead and check in with some of these roads that are getting a lot of rain and slowing traffic down. Eastbound 80 going into exit 42, very heavy traffic. Can't tell what it is. I did see police heading into the area, but I cannot tell what it is. I can just tell you it is very slow. Garden State Parkway northbound before exit 137. You have a crash. It's blocking the right lane. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. At the George, it's 40 to 45 in, 20 to 25 out. Lincoln, 25 to 30 in, 5 to 10 out. Holland, 15 to 20 inbound, 15 minutes on the outbound side. This got down at Goethals Bridge is 10. The outer bridge is 15 minutes. Manhattan bound Brooklyn Bridge is slow. And there is road work on this rock neck going into the Bronx from Queens. So you're seeing some very heavy traffic. And of course, that also means you'll see a little extra traffic on the Whitestone Bridge as well. Now, westbound belt is heavy. JFK Airport to Crossway Boulevard. Eastbound is slow from Flatbush Avenue to Erskine Street. And all 3 airports are reporting delays. So call ahead. I'm Gloria Chapa. Our next report at 421. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
D'Agostino and Associates I built right here in New York and New Jersey. For over 30 years, helping accident victims get every dollar they deserve. I've been there. Call now, 888-24-LAW-24. D'Agostino, law fight back.
Check out the forecast now with meteorologist John Fear.
Yeah, a few more downpours have cropped up across the tri-state area. One moving through the Bronx right now, another one over Queens. These are all moving south to north, but then there's a batch of heavy showers and storms back across Pennsylvania that's going to swing through here very late this afternoon and this evening, going to continue to cause more in terms of flooding issues as it swings through, perhaps a gusty wind with any thunderstorm as well. Flash flood warnings already in effect pretty much anywhere north of West 287 at this point, but the heavy rain that's already fallen. Tonight we're down to 70. It does look like tomorrow will start to dry out, maybe a leftover shower or storm. We're up near 80. And partly sunny for Tuesday up to 87, then hot and humid Wednesday. We're up near 90 right now in Central Park. 78 most of Friday. We're down to 70 tonight in Midtown. Back to John Fear from the English weather station. 1010 wind, 92.3 FM.
John, Wings News Time. 4:14.
I live alone and rarely have visitors. So when I slipped and fell on the kitchen last month and couldn't get to a phone, I knew I was in trouble. Help! I could barely move. Help! I tried calling for help, but no one could hear me. As I lay there, I couldn't help but think of my kids and grandkids having to go on without me. I was terrified. It took 8 hours for my neighbor to find me. It could have been the end of it. That's when I knew I needed Life Alert. With just one press of this button, I'm connected to the Life Alert Center, where I can get the help I need, even when I cannot reach a phone. With Life Alert, I'm never alone.
Call 1-800-244-8805 for your free Life Alert brochure. That's 1-800-244-8805. Again, 1-800-244-8805. Call for your free Life Alert brochure at 1-800-244-8805 today.
When you can find everything you need at prices you can afford, that's totally Target. It's that feeling when quality good and gather ingredients on the barbecue brings family around the table. Or when favorite day after practice snacks let you celebrate the whole team for less. It's when saving more on up-and-up sunscreen means more fun in the sun. And when Target's Circle Rewards program gives you more perks on what you buy most and is always free to join, that's totally Target.
Sounds like it's back to school time, and Staples has great prices on everything you need for school. Save on markers and crayons, save on notebooks and folders, and right now at Staples, save big on tech, with up to $250 off select computers. Staples, where savings for school are always in session. N729, in-store only. See associate for details.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp now for free information on how to get started today. InventHelp provides invention services to help everyday inventors get started with their idea. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. Our services include professional materials needed to showcase your invention, and 3D animation and prototype modeling that help you demonstrate your idea. Get down to the details of your idea with a technical drawing. The InventHelp Databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Take advantage of the opportunity to get started today.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-3495. That's 1-800-460-3495. Again, 1-800-460-3495. And this story just into the 1010 newsroom. NYPD has released the name of the suspect in yesterday's shooting, one in Brooklyn and primarily in Jamaica, Queens. Police have arrested Thomas Abreu of Brooklyn. He is charged with 1 charge of murder, 2 charges of attempted murder, and 6 counts of criminal possession of a weapon. They have also identified the murder victim, 87-year-old Hamu Saidi of Queens. Again, the suspect announced in yesterday's shootings, primarily in Jamaica, Queens, all this happening within about a half an hour, right around 11:30 yesterday morning, in which 1 man was killed and 4 wounded. Suspect Thomas Abreu of Brooklyn, New York, the man who was killed, 87-year-old Hamu Saidi, according to the NYPD. Wins News Time, 4:18.
Hey, Yankees fans, gather a group of 10 or more and take